Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, CIO and co-founder of Nidus, and today we're going to talk about a new AI research paper released by MIT that proves everything I said about AI is awesome is true, and everything I said about AI that is terrifying is true. So here's the paper. It's called Artificial Intelligence, Scientific Discovery and Product Innovation by Aidan Toner Rogers from MIT, November 6th, 2024. So I'm just going to read it. This is just the summation of the research. This is just a little intro paragraph. We're going to go through this and I'm going to explain what this means and how it relates to what we've been talking about all this time. This paper studies the impact of artificial intelligence on innovation, exploiting the randomized introduction of new materials discovery technology to 1,018 scientists in the R&D labs of large U.S. firm. So what does that mean? The whole point of this study is they're trying to use AI and give it to a bunch of scientists to say, hey, look, we want you to use AI to see if it can help you with coming up with new material designs and new scientific discoveries. The key here is the scientific discovery part. They're really trying to see if AI can come up with new ideas. It can come up with new ways to solve problems that humans haven't figured out. And that's kind of the whole point. So they said, hey, let's give it to the researchers and scientists that do that for a living and see how that works. AI-assisted researchers discovered 44% more materials, resulting in 39% increase in patent filings and a 17% rise in downstream product innovation. All three of those numbers are basically saying that everything has gone up. So 44% materials. So that's just they have been able to develop more research papers, more products, more things. So their research has gone up almost 50% with the use of AI. Not because they've added more people, not because they've had longer time, not because they've had new, no, I'll say technology because AI is the tech, but it's not like they have, like a new computer or something. It's literally just because they have AI built into the workflow of their product innovation. 39% increase in patent filings. This one is really big because you're only going to file a patent when you think you're really onto something because it's massively expensive. It's a long, arduous process. Now, it is a U.S. firm, so they probably are, and it's probably a large one, so they don't say who it is, but they probably have attorneys on file that already do this kind of stuff. But even then, you're not just going to patent everything willy-nilly. So the fact that they're going up 39% in patent filings, that's huge because that means they're finding something that they're like, this is something we think is going to be worth money, and then they're going after it. And the last one is a 17% rise in downstream product innovation. So that one to me is even more important because patents is like, oh, we just want to patent everything and hopefully someone does something and we can license something out. More materials and designs, 44% of that. Yeah, it's like cool because now like, oh, we've learned more information. I get that. But the 17% rise in product innovation, that's the big one because that's like, holy crap, we've discovered something new. We figured out a new way to do something, a new material, a new product, a new thing, a new way of doing something that we've never done before. So innovation has gone up. That to me is the more important one. These compounds possess more novel chemical structures and lead to more radical inventions. So the best way I can think about this one was something that was invented a long time ago that made a huge difference, and that was the development of carbon nanotubes. I just remember seeing it on like Dateline or something as a kid. And basically it was these guys figured out they assembled molecules in a certain way. They were able to make this super lighter than air solid that had really good support and structure to it. And because of that, they're able to make all kinds of stuff. Think carbon fiber, right? So because someone was able to figure out carbon fiber and how to mold it and create things from carbon fiber, all of a sudden every industry exploded because they're able to take something and make it massively lighter and still as strong. So with that to me, I think is what's important here is because of these new chemical compositions, they're able to make radical improvements, not just like saying, oh, we've made it stronger. We've made this metal stronger. Or we've made this more potent. They've made things in a leaps and bounds effort that could change how other industries use that type of technology. However, the new technology has strikingly disparate effects across the productivity distribution. While the bottom third of scientists see little benefit, the output of top researchers nearly doubles. This is big. This is what we were talking about before. So they're saying the bottom third don't see any benefit. I can guarantee you what this already is. The bottom third, they don't know how to prompt. They don't know how to do proper prompt engineering. They do not understand how to use AI. They're probably like being told to use it. They don't want to. So they're just not really taking the advantages of it. They really haven't leaned into it and figured out the best way to take advantage of AI. And that's why they're saying, oh, we don't really see any benefit in it. I have yet to meet a single person ever in any industry where after sitting with them and explaining them how to use AI and showing how it's all beneficial, where they go, I don't think this is any use for me. If they do say that, it's pure naivety. They just do not understand it. And that's where that bottom third is. And the reason that is absolutely true is because when you look at the top researchers, ones that are saying their productivity nearly doubles. So the top researchers have basically figured out how to do proper prompt engineering. They've figured out how to utilize AI to maximize their product workflow, and they've doubled their ability to do their job. So that's the kind of stuff that's important. And hopefully the key takeaway is that the people that have figured out how to double the workflow can then transfer that knowledge to that bottom third that just say there's nothing there and everyone in between, so that everyone can take advantage of these benefits. Investigating the mechanisms behind these results, I show that AI automates 57% of idea generation tasks, reallocating researchers to the new task of evaluating model-produced candidate materials. All right, so let's go on to this next part. This part really kind of clarifies, this first sentence here says, the top scientists leverage their domain knowledge to prioritize promising AI suggestions, while others waste significant resources testing false positives. So this kind of goes, this is one sentence that clearly articulates what I tried to say in an entire podcast, and I'm not even sure I really did it very articulately. Not as good as this. And what it's stating is that for those that know how to use AI and that have a background in that field already, they were able to dominate because they know the core understanding of their field so well that they're able to just tack AI on as an additional benefit to make their job so much easier, develop new things, find out new stuff, and just make life way easier for them and develop new discoveries and scientific discoveries, which was the whole point of this, right? Now, what they're saying is the other people, though, is that they're spending all their time testing all these false positives. So, well, the ones that know how to leverage AI to their benefit doubled their workforce, where the ones that didn't, they're like, oh, we're wasting all our time because they're doing it the old way, which is, hey, does this work? No. Okay, hey, does this work? No. Okay, hey, does this work? Oh, it looks like it works. Oh, look, it's working. We spend months, and then they find out, oh, they're wrong about something. Where with AI, having all the information already built out into their model and trained on probably specifically what they're working on, all those types of tests and kind of models of what would happen if you were to go down that road, it can infer it instantly. So you can save days, weeks, months of testing on something that you think is right just to find out it's wrong later. AI is able to save all that time, which says, okay, hey, I think I had a great idea. AI shoots it down. You're like, oh, that was a stupid idea. Well, hey, how can I make that idea right? And maybe by asking and knowing how to prompt it right, it will then give you that missing piece of the puzzle to make it actually work. So instead of wasting all that time trying to figure out how to make it work, it just gives you the answer right away. Together, these findings demonstrate the potential of AI-augmented research and highlight the complementarity between algorithms and expertise in innovative process. Survey evidence reveals that these gains come at a cost. However, as 82% of scientists report reduced satisfaction in their work due to decreased creativity and skill underutilization. This is the terrifying part that I was talking about before. Remember when I was saying, like, I don't know how to go anywhere because I use Waze and it just tells me things. I don't know anyone's phone number anymore because my phone just has everyone's phone number in it. So I don't know any phone numbers anymore. And now with AI, it's like, well, I'm not having to write code constantly all the time because AI is writing it for me and I'm just kind of tweaking it. So like, I'm not that hardcore crazy developer where I know every little thing that's going on anymore. I'm now know the larger abstract and I'm building it that way. And I agree with this statement completely. So they're saying that the gains are awesome, but 82% of the scientists say that they have reduced satisfaction with their work, meaning they're just not happy with it. And I get it because I think this has to do with that whole idea where I was saying that AI is the good enough answer. It's not, if you were to build this stuff from scratch and you were the developer and you built this whole thing out and you did it exactly the way you wanted, you would have this very complete finished product that you're very proud to hand out and be like, hey, look what I developed. Look what I made. Look at this cool thing that I can do. And look how great it looks and it functions and it's got all this hair handling and it's all these cool little things. And it's like, oh, that's awesome. It took you a year to make it, but you got it. And how cool is that? But now with AI, you have this idea like, hey, I want to make this thing. And in a month, you've developed the entire thing out and it works and it accomplishes the exact same goal, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. And maybe it's not as pretty or it's not as elegant, but it accomplished the goal to a good enough standard. You just saved yourself 11 months of time. So is that fine tuning and proudness that you have worth 11 months of your time? I bet that 82% of the people will say no. And that's why they're not satisfied, because it's like, yeah, I did the thing, but I know I could do better. But why am I going to waste so much more of my life doing that? Because now I can go out and do something else. I might find a new discovery. I could take this and leverage that to build something else. I can go spend more time with my family. I can go travel more. I can do all these other things that I couldn't do before because AI has freed up my time, which is the most valuable resource that we have. So if AI is so great, but it's still giving us a just good enough potential, and these scientists, which are super smart people, and they're finding like, hey, yeah, I can double my productivity. I'm finding all kinds of new kind of cool stuff that I can do with this, but I'm not happy with the work product that I put out. And they're saying that there's a decreased creativity and skill underutilization. So AI is not creative. It's not going to come up with something new. That's up to you to come up with. But to do that is hard. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of risk. And with AI, you don't have to put that in, and you can lower that bar and still deliver a good enough product, but you're not really having fun. You're not coming up with something cool. You're not coming up with a new way to do something that you can leverage and be like, oh, look what I did. I figured out a way to do whatever and capitalize on that, right? So that gets diminished greatly. And skill underutilization is huge. We've spent, especially like I imagine these people and people like at my level, we've spent decades building up skills in our specific fields, like for me, technology. So like from development skills, architecture, network infrastructure, identity access management, security, all, and that's just in the IT world. If you want to talk about other businesses, like we have other kinds of crazy skills all over there too. And I've spent decades honing and refining and building and understanding all this knowledge so that I could create and develop things that no one else can do because they haven't put that time in. I don't have to use all that anymore. I can just sit back and go into Claude and be like, hey, I need blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm still using all that knowledge to build out the prompts and make sure that, and read and fine tune and build the things I'm doing and making it how I want for sure. But it's not the same. You're not starting with a blank canvas and painting a masterpiece. You're basically saying, hey, AI, make me an image that does this, this, and this. And you see it and you're like, okay, cool. And then you come in and you're just kind of like fine tuning it. Yeah, you made it, but did you? And that it's that whole, that serotonin thing of like, hey, look at this. I made this. I'm proud of this. Look at this cool thing I did. That disappears so much that 82% of the people in this study feel, it's just not, they're not happy. They're not excited about their work anymore. That is terrifying to me because that brain trust is going to be lost. And also because of that, you're not going to need people to learn all that underlying knowledge. Like, right now, I had to learn 20 years, 30 years, realistically, of tech and infrastructure to get to where I am now, to be able to deliver results. So when someone asks me a question and I give them an answer, that is 30 years of knowledge being figured out and spewed out as an answer to them, however it's given to them, right? But now someone else says, hey, I have the same question, and they ask an LLM. The LLM gives them the answer. Let's say it's 90% effective to what I gave them. Very close, but just needs a little bit of fine tuning. They didn't have to know any of the things that I had to learn to get up to this point. So why would you spend any time learning it? That's where I think the big dilemma is going to be. The majority of people that are going to learn how to use AI to enhance their job and do these new things, and it's just going to be a way of life. It's like saying, hey, do you know how to use a computer? Well, that's going to be AI, right? And the majority of people are just going to know how to use AI, and they're going to do really cool, great things way faster, way better than people that don't use it. But the people that are going to really excel, the people that are going to change and innovate and disrupt in the future, they're the ones that are going to spend all that time really learning and understanding all the intricacies of what AI is giving it to them. Like if we take programming as an analogy, if you don't know anything about programming, let's say you know nothing about Python, you don't even know what Python is, you can go into any AI LLM right now and say, hey, write me a program that does this and tell me how to launch it. And it will do it, write the program, tell you to launch it, and you launch it, like, holy crap, I just wrote my first program, and you don't know anything about Python. But for those that spend, let's say, 5 years really learning how to build Python and do it the old school way, where it's like, I need to learn how to code. I need to learn how to do everything without AI. Maybe use AI just instead of using Stack Overflow, right? Like you can use AI just to learn faster and to really understand it all, but you actually do the hard work and you actually put the time in to learn all the stuff that no one else is going to do. those are the people that are really going to win over the next 10 forever. Honestly, it's not even, this isn't even like, it's not going to stop. It's going to be from here on, if you put in the work and you understand how to do all this stuff, you will win. If you're in college and all these other, or even in work, whatever, and you see all these people just copying the questions and putting it into ChatGPT and delivering the answers, be like, I'm done. Those are the people that are going to be fodder, right? Those are going to be people that will be easily replaced by someone else or some other AI agent because they're not doing anything. They're just the human in the loop. And everything about AI is removing human in the loop. So if you can make yourself not avoidable to be removed from that loop because you're the one that provides that deep level of understanding and innovative like creativity, that is going to be the security over all of it. And the big thing about this paper is that AI is able to help build innovative technologies. So it's going to eventually get to that innovation process. That's what they're saying AGI is really going to do, is that once AGI comes around, then it will be able to figure out how to make itself better, it will come up with new creative solutions that no one has come up with yet. And this is kind of doing that now, but with human in the loop with all these scientists and researchers. But like I said, AI is to remove the human in the loop. So those AI researchers that are at that top that felt like it doubled their productivity, they were the ones that have those decades of research understanding and know how to best use the AI because they know their field, they know how to use AI well in what they're doing, and they're able to do really cool things. They're able to file new patents. They're able to bump up their innovation numbers, where everyone else that's not, they didn't really understand it, or they're like, yeah, it made my life easier, but I don't feel satisfied. That's going to be the world. So depending on where you want to be, if you're towards the end of your career and you're like, man, I just want to coast on the last 5 years. Okay, cool. But you might not have 5. And that to me is the scary part. So the best advice I can give you is AI is great and it's extremely helpful in pretty much everything you can possibly do. Do not be lazy. Now is the time to really tighten up those bootstraps and figure out all that underlying data. Really know what it's giving to you. So use AI, use it to figure out answers, use it to save you time, use it to develop code that you already know or whatever. But when you get those answers, ask it why, right? Take that extra time to really understand what it's delivering to you so that you understand the actual underlying knowledge behind it. Don't be lazy. If you're lazy and you choose that path of least resistance, you're going to be replaced. And this paper, I think, proves it. So thank you for your time. I hope you really enjoyed this stuff. The paper is online for you to check out. We'll post the links down below. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll see you guys around. Later. Nidus has just created the first iOS app made exclusively for identity management professionals. It's called Nidus Breachcast, and you can download it now. It's amazing. We have real-time updates of all the latest breaches that are occurring, CVEs as they come out real-time, really pertaining just to identity management. We have media that's going on this podcast. We're going to be bringing in a lot more others as well. And we even have a complete vendor list of all the identity management vendors and all their products, so you can find out exactly where to download their software, all the documentation. And what's even more awesome is an identity management glossary. All those crazy words and acronyms that we can never remember, they're all listed in there for you. No ads, just pure information to make your life simple.